Welcome to the True Elegance Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bunmi Akinkugbe, also known as Dr. B. Through solo episodes and guest sessions, we delve into the timeless qualities of style, grace, and sophistication, and uncover what makes you truly elegant. So, sit back, relax, and let's get started on this empowering journey of becoming truly elegant. Hello, Elegant Tribe, and welcome to another episode of the True Elegance Podcast. Today, I have in the guest chair Taiye Aluko, who is a transformation and relationship expert that helps couples to build happy homes. But beyond that, she speaks on self-image, self-worth, and embracing the authentic you, which is what the True Elegance Podcast is all about. So join me and welcome Taiye to the podcast. Welcome, Taiye.
Thank you, Bunmi, Dr. Bunmi. Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing.
I absolutely love the amazing work you're doing.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. So in the True Elegance Podcast, we talk about how your inner beauty is what radiates on the outside. So beyond all the glam and glee of the makeup and the hair and the dress up and everything, our focus is to look at what makes you strong on the inside so you can portray elegant confidence on the outside. So I want to throw this up to you and ask you what true elegance means to you.
Well, for me, true elegance, I would say, is about, like you already said, what is on the inside. You know, that thing that you carry that I believe that every human being has. There's a value that is on the inside of us. And true elegance is about you connecting to that value that is on the inside of you, and not just connecting to it, but being able to radiate it so that other people who have an experience of you are better off because you have connected to your truly authentic, elegant self, and you are able to live life from that frame of reference. You know, there's a lot of focus on external beauty, but by the time you start to relate with people, no matter how beautiful they are, if they are not beautiful on the inside, you no longer see the physical beauty because the experience you have of them is what you then begin to associate with the person. And that's why a lot of marriages don't last, because you marry somebody that is porcelain-like, and then at the end of the day, you see the real person and it's not matching up.
Right. Even though someone might look attractive on the outside, when you relate and connect with them, and then you discover, this is just not what you thought this person was, it's like somehow all that outward beauty just begins to fade and disappear. Wow. And I know you had mentioned about marriage, and that is so true, because I can just remember so many, funny memes and things on social media where they'll be like, what I ordered versus what I got.
What I ordered versus what I got. But here's the thing, people order physical beauty. And sometimes we don't dig deep to know this is physically attractive, but physical beauty can also fade.
Right.
It can also fade. By the time a woman has a child, nothing is as it used to be before. So if your focus was on that, then that's what you're going to eventually live with. But what is really important is the inner beauty. And that's not to say that don't take care of yourself physically, but inner beauty is much, much more lasting.
Exactly. Awesome. So how do we go about, building the inner beauty and developing that true elegance? In your own words.
For me, I would say that it starts with you having a relationship with yourself. So if I'm going to backtrack a bit, I would say it starts with you having a relationship with your maker, which is God, because it's like the manufacturer. How do you know how to use a product or understand the value of a product? It's by going through the manufacturer's manual. Right. So having a relationship with God helps you to better understand the human that you have been created to be. helps you to better understand the value that God created you with. Because, there's a part of His word that says we are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Right.
So that is the first point of having that relationship with Him. And then when you have done that, also understanding who He created you to be. Because a lot of times we have a relationship with God, but we don't understand who God has created us to be. Now, understanding who He has created you to be then helps you to come into this place where you then begin to have a relationship with yourself. And learning to love yourself is so important. I find that a lot of people don't love themselves. So how can you unlock true elegance when you don't love yourself? And I would say that I was in that place once, not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't understand who God had created me to be. So having a relationship with God and then learning to understand who He's created you to be, and then coming to this place where you love yourself is very important.
Beautiful. So yes, I love those. Those are unique things because you really can't know who you are. It's like, they talk about the manufacturer and the product. If you buy a brand new car, or you just got a MacBook or a phone or something, although sometimes people just dive in and everything. But if it's something you're not familiar with, you have to go through the manufacturer's manual. In this case, we were created by God and He has a purpose and a plan for each and every one of us. And this is one thing that has helped in my journey, because when I look back at so many experiences I've heard that brought me to this true elegance situation, I've seen that God wants me to radiate the beauty on the inside that He has given me to the outside.
Yeah.
And everything you see on the outside, the way I carry myself, the way I deal with people, is because I've come to an understanding of the unique gifts and talents and abilities that God has given me to be able to radiate on the outside.
I can absolutely relate. Absolutely and totally. It's like the same journey that I have been on. That thing that keeps us from wanting to be the next person is when we come into a full understanding of why God created us the way we are. It's not an accident.
Right.
There's a purpose that only me can fulfill, being authentic me. So when I try and chase being somebody else, I'm not going to be able to fulfill the purpose. So that's really just beautiful the way you put it.
Thank you. And I know you've mentioned a couple of times about your journey. Can you share more with us? Where were you at some point? What helped you to be able to grow into this confident person? And of course, we know it's still a journey that is continuing, but what have you learned in your journey so far?
Okay, so I would say for me, to try to make it as brief as possible. I used to work in banking, and I left banking in 2013. And all the while, I knew that I had a call to help people in the marriage arena, in the marriage sphere, but I didn't know how to achieve it. So eventually, I met up with someone who was going to train me, take me through counseling training. But what I didn't understand was, for me to be an effective counselor, I actually needed to go on a personal journey for myself. And so I signed up with this person who then became my coach. And that journey was really transformative for me, because it helped me to not just see my strengths, but also to see my weaknesses. But it helped me to then begin to embrace my strengths, because there's a way you can know that this is your strength, but you are afraid to acknowledge that, hey, you actually are good at least that's where I found myself. There were things that I felt that I wasn't good enough to be able to do. Now, working with that person helped me to say to myself and come to this place where I realized that if God has given me this gift, I'm the only one holding myself back. And the only way I can get better or begin to kill some of those fears is to start doing it. So that journey was a journey of discovery. It was a journey that helped me to start taking action. The things that I was prior to now afraid of, I started to do them, baby steps. And the more I did them, I was creating a track record of successes, because I would then look back at, I was afraid of doing this before, and I successfully did it. So it was now in my bank, a success, a success, a success. It was baby steps. He taught me progress over perfection. So don't look to be perfect, just begin to create that track record. And that was 2017. Now we are 2023. I can honestly tell you I'm a more confident person. Before, when I would get an engagement to come and speak, I would shy away. I would say, oh, I don't know what I'm going to say. Oh, I'm not a good speaker. But now I'm embracing every and all the opportunities, because I realize that I don't have to be anybody else. I just have to be the best version of myself. It's been an amazing journey, I have to say.
Wow. Beautiful. Progress over perfection and being your authentic self. And I like what you also mentioned about Success Bank, because, as you're going in your journey, you're climbing this ladder and reaching for the next, and knowing that you're building muscles in one thing or the other. That is really awesome. And the
Building
power of coaching
muscles.
too. The power of coaching as well, getting those mentors and coaches to help you along the way.
It transformed my life. I can't even lie.
Beautiful.
I've worked with a lot of coaches, and I realized that, this life, we're not meant to walk the journey of life alone. We
Right.
really need hand holders. It has really transformed my own life.
That's beautiful. So did you face any challenges along the way, even as you went through your discovery journey?
I think the biggest challenges I faced was my inner critic. That voice that just always pops up to tell you, you're not good enough, you're not going to succeed. That fear that always is lurking, no matter how many stages you climb, no matter when you get this done and you want to do the next thing, it is always still there. So that was the biggest challenge, the inner critic. I would say also in the evolution, people, you get people also say things like, they know where you're coming from. So they're like, who is this new you? And so that journey of also getting people to understand that you are not who you used to be. And I think the best way that I addressed that was really not to bother, but to just keep doing. And in continuing to do, people came around to accept that this person was evolving. But beyond that, honestly, what I did was to surround myself with people of like minds. So it wasn't so much of opposition, because I was already in a community of people with like minds.
Wow, that is powerful. Surrounding yourself with folks who are like-minded and moving in the same direction as your dreams, even though it won't be exactly the same thing, but you're all moving forward in progress, one step at a time. That is amazing. And the inner critic will always be there. Even right now, even with this new adventure and like you said, every next level you get to, it's almost like, oh, do you think you're going to make it? Like, how are you going to get there? So how do you walk through those inner critical voices?
How have I done it? I'm not perfect. I would not tell you that I've arrived. I don't even think there's anything called arriving while we're on this earth. I think I've just learned to do. I think the only way to silence the inner critic, so first thing is preparation. What I learned was that preparation, when you are prepared, even though you're still afraid, you know that you know. So you are able to do it afraid because you have prepared. And then after preparing, there's no point preparing and not doing. So the next thing is to do. So preparation and doing are very critical. The inner critic will probably never go away. But then again, you also need to speak to yourself, to affirm yourself. So in that way, you are silencing the negative voices. The more you affirm yourself, the more you speak to yourself, you continue to reduce the noise of the inner critic.
Beautiful, beautiful. Preparation and doing, because we can talk about things we want to do for so long, but until we take those actions and then we learn from them. Sometimes we'll make mistakes, sometimes it won't be the best foot we've put forward. But in doing, we're growing and we're learning and we're becoming better. And that's the only way to advance in whatever we're doing. I totally agree with
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
All right. As we segue to the next section, I know you've mentioned some of it already, so it's okay to reiterate it. Or if you have any other points, what are top 3 tips that you could share with our audience about staying true to yourself to find your true elegance?
Wow. I absolutely love that. I think that the first thing would be knowing yourself, because you can't stay true to a self you don't know. And so that is essential, that you must
Absolutely.
know yourself. And secondly, once you've known yourself, learn to embrace yourself. Don't hate the self you know. Love yourself because you are beautiful. You are beautiful, and I find that people can love you, but their love will never be enough if you don't love yourself.
Absolutely.
So you will find that people are saying, "Oh, you look beautiful. You're doing this. You're achieving that," and it's just going into one ear and coming out the other, because you don't see what they're seeing. So
Right.
you have to embrace yourself. You have to love yourself, and then I also find that for me, cultivating your voice.
Hmm.
Our voices are power.
Right.
And so cultivating that voice and using it for the good of humanity.
Wow.
Because sometimes you also need to take the focus off yourself, not be self absorbed. There's an assignment, there's a purpose. The more you are focusing on doing good for others, you're also, in a way, building yourself up. Building yourself up. And if I can add a bonus one, I would say
Yes, please do.
surround yourself with positive people that will celebrate you.
Amazing.
Leave the naysayers, leave the haters.
Yes, ma'am.
Go look for those people that will tell you you can do it. They exist. They
Awesome.
exist.
Awesome. I love that. I'm taking that for myself too.
They exist. They honestly do.
Wow, those are amazing. Knowing yourself, embracing yourself. That's one thing I always talk about. So, embracing your uniqueness, because each and every one of us is unique in our own way. And the more you embrace who you are, the more you can develop yourself and grow stronger. It's not because you don't have the flaws or weaknesses, but knowing that, okay, this is who you are, this is what I need to do, and this is how I can get better is definitely key. And the part about cultivating your voice, I want you to speak a little more about that.
Okay, for me, there was a time that I thought that I didn't have anything to say. I didn't have anything to offer, that, my voice didn't really matter. But there was a time God gave me a word regarding my voice.
Wow.
And what I've come to realize is that, we speak.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you speaking? Are you speaking life? Are you speaking? That is what we should be speaking.
Right.
So for every assignment that you have, that you've been given, there's a speaking element. So how would you speak if your voice has not been cultivated?
Wow.
And so for me, when I started to, speaking engagements, presentations here and there,
Mm-hmm.
I had to go through this process of even understanding how my voice sounded, and then on developing that voice so that it is a voice that can then command. So what
Awesome.
I would do was I would record myself speaking. So how does my voice sound? What does it carry? Is it enthusiastic? Is it the kind of voice that puts people to sleep? So all of that journey also went along. So bringing your voice to this place of power, because there's a way somebody will speak, you will turn around and want to listen, because there's a
Yeah,
melody,
you're like,
there's a
who's that?
ring. Who's that? Yes, there's a power. So I did all of that, cultivating your voice so that you can effectively deliver your message.
Wow. I love it. So do you have any role models that have helped you in developing yourself or that radiates true elegance that inspire you?
Not to sound cliche,
Okay.
I would say that, even though this is very far away, the Michelle Obama, because she's her true, authentic self. She's just a
Yes.
very, powerful woman, but her power is from the inside. Even
Yes.
when she was a stay-at-home mom, because I
Uh-huh.
read that her book, the journey of what she even, sacrificed just to keep her marriage. There
Beautiful.
was all of that she spoke up in her book. So
Mm-hmm.
there's her. Then I have a friend who has been through a lot in life.
Mm.
She's still going on.
Wow.
She's been through a lot. She was married for 23 years and ended up not having children.
Mm.
Unfortunately, the marriage didn't work. But anytime I see her, I see a woman who is driven to just make a success with her life.
Wow.
And she might not know it, but she's been a true inspiration to me because
Wow.
I keep saying, if this lady can, life has given her so much. She's knocked her here, there, and everywhere, but she still gets up and she's going. She
Wow.
says she cannot afford to not go because she just is driven by, I just need to succeed. And
Wow.
for me, she's not maybe not known to many people, but she's an inspiration to me. And then, of course, my mom.
Yes.
My mom had a very, very hard life,
Mm.
but she sacrificed everything for her family and for her children. She had a very hard life, not the most comfortable marriage, but she held on because for her, stability was important.
Wow.
And so, yes, those three
Wow.
people I would say.
Those are so heartwarming and resonates on so many levels. Of course, Michelle Obama, forever first lady. She
Yeah.
still inspires even me every day. And one day I'm looking forward to hosting her on this podcast. And I know
Ooh, that would be amazing. And
I
you
know that's
will
gonna
do it.
happen.
It is going to
That's
happen.
that's gonna
And when that
happen.
happens, I'm going to be able to say, I
Woo!
know Dr.
Yes.
Bunmi. I know her. I know her. I know her.
We called it forth, right?
Yes, yes. We called it forth.
Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, our moms and so many people, because it's good. And that is one of the goals of this podcast to be able to serve as role models and people see us out there being our authentic self, going through our journeys and our struggles, but staying consistent and knowing that we can win and get on the other side and not give up. So as we wrap up today, and as one of the bonus rounds, I just want you to share with us what are some true elegance practices that you observe on a regular basis? What self-care, mind care, personal development contributes to your true elegance?
Okay, so for me, what I do regular exercise.
Okay.
I work out regularly and I think that has really helped me mentally to be mentally alert. It has helped me to there's just a joy that I get from it because I also do with a community of other women. So we are like women encouraging ourselves. It just makes the experience more fun and more joyful. And of course, you get to a certain age in life where the weight does not shift like it used to before. So I think I've resigned myself to it's about wellness and healthy lifestyle now, much more than weight loss. But
Right.
that journey of exercising for me is really a precious and priceless one.
Wow.
It boosts my mood, it keeps me mentally alert, and it is fun. In life, you
Beautiful.
have to also have fun.
Yes.
It is fun.
Yeah, beyond the physical benefits, the help it brings to your mind makes you fit and healthy and clear-minded to be able to do more stuff. I know we were chatting before we started the podcast and you were like, do you work out and everything?
Yes,
I didn't
I
even
saw
know
those
that was
arms.
gonna be like a strong
Those arms. I like when I see those arms, I'm like, hey, when will my arm look like that? We have this thing about Christian mother arms. Those are definitely not Christian mother arms.
Oh wow. We have to talk about that some other time, definitely.
Some other time.
But thank you so much for sharing with us today. This has been amazing, inspirational, and impactful at the same time. We really, really do appreciate it. And before we let you go, can you share with our audience how we can follow you beyond this podcast and what other services you offer?
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed my time with you. I can be found on mainly Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. And the handle is called I am Taiye. Taiye is Taiye _Aluko, which is ALUKO. That is my most active social media platform. I'm also on LinkedIn as Taiye Aluko. That's my first name and my maiden name and my last name. I work with couples, primarily couples who are about to start the journey of marriage. And what I do is to equip them with essential skills that is absolutely necessary and critical for building a solid foundation upon which they can build their happy home. Because if the foundation is not right, no building will be able to stay on that structure. Right. Then I also work with the married who are finding it difficult to navigate, help them find the sweet spot in their marriage and go on to build a happy home and have a fulfilling life. That's Beautiful. Me in a nutshell.
Beautiful. That's amazing. And you know what better way to start life pre-marriage than knowing who you are so that you can embrace yourself, because you know in marriage there's more to discover, and doing that with another whole individual. Yes.
Many people get married and get lost. They lose their individuality, and that's
because they never found themselves.
Absolutely. Right. They never did.
Right. Well, thank you so much. It's been amazing. And until next time, see you, Elegant Tribe. Have an amazing day. Be sure to subscribe so you'll be the first to be notified of every new episode. Leave a review and share this podcast with that elegant lady in your life. This is a space where we can come together to empower and inspire each other and leave feeling elevated and enlightened. See you in the next episode.